Every morning you'll see either the old ladies go out, which you'll be surprised because most of the old ladies ride bicycles. So you see like this 90-year-old lady riding a bicycle, and you're like, wow, if there's anyone older than like 50 years old, you have no power into saying what they can do or what they can't do. They will give you a kiss if they want you, or they will stop and talk, or they won't talk. They're so set in their ways, and they just have everything nailed down that's just the way they are. But it's wonderful. They're so great. You have to go in with passion. I think the country is built around passion. You're going to think someone's mad at you with their loud voice, but they're not at all. They're not mad at you. They're not yelling at you. That's just the way they express themselves. A lot of people have difficulty thinking that people are trying to be rude to them. Like the person is being rude to you, but they're not. I mean, in fact, it could be the complete opposite. They're just excited, and they express that in their voice. They express it in their hands. They can get really hyped up really fast, or like really sad, or they really portray on the outside what they're feeling. And it can be overwhelming sometimes because it's so much to take in and it's not what you're used to. But as you try to really understand it, you'll be able to reciprocate that. You can't help but be in awe when you get off the plane and you come in, and it's not what you think it is. A lot of people think Italy is just like this super fancy place all the time, and it is really fancy. But it's also real life. Like there's a lot of problems in Italy, but at the same time, it's like, wow, it's really amazing to see all the amazing and wonderful like architecture and history, and then also just what you think an Italian person is. You start seeing this excessive amount of emotion coming out from everyone. And I'm totally comfortable with saying that because I ended up marrying an Italian. So my whole family on that side now is just all, it's a really wonderful experience. But as far as like the first initial impact, that was usually the consensus. You have to respect the way their culture has been established over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. They're such an old people that there are things that you have to adapt to. The way they work and the way they think. Italians take their time doing things. They don't mind standing and talking, or they don't mind, they have so many holidays in their work schedules. There are a lot of days that you won't be able to work just because of the holidays, and it might bug you, but respecting those days or even knowing when they're coming is just like, it's impressive to them. One thing they really appreciate, and I bet you a lot of countries appreciate this as well, is really seeing the effort of you blending in with what they do. And some of the key things will be talking with your hands. It's like, I guess maybe I've done it in the video, I'm not if you knows, but like you use your hands a lot, or you need to make sure you have some emotion in you. You can't just be thinking you can just have a conversation. There's going to be some loud moments, there's going to be some laughing, there's going to be some serious moments, there's going to be crazy hand movements everywhere. You're going to get, I think, a full spectrum of what emotion can really provide in a conversation when you're speaking to several different Italians. They will tell you so much in so little time because they just love to talk and just tell you so many things. They're going to be a little touchy. They like touching your arm. You're going to have the awkward experiences of grandmothers or older ladies coming up and kissing you on the cheek all the time. You have to be careful with the younger women because it's part of the culture where you give a kiss of either hello and goodbye because of the way they live. They're so set in their ways, and they just have everything nailed down that's just the way they are. But it's wonderful. They're so great. So I started in Genova, which is right by the sea. And most people here know about pesto. So it's like, it's based around basil. It's spaghetti. It's pasta. And it's called pesto, which is, if you have a chance to serve in Genova, you have to eat pesto because that is the dish of that area. And it's incredibly amazing. You can actually get pretty legit pesto at Costco. I'm not advertising for them, but if you wanted to try some, you can actually pick up a can of really good pesto from Costco. And that's a place you can try that, and you can kind of get a taste for what it's going to taste like in Genova, but just 10 bajillion times better. And next I went up to the north, to Bergamo, closer to the Alps. And there they have more of a German sort of like thicker, I guess, base. One of their main dishes is called polenta, which some people like and some people don't. What it is kind of like a cornmeal, sort of like cornbread, but it's kind of like softer, kind of like a pastry almost substance where it's kind of like squishy. fluffy, but it's made out of corn and cornmeal. It supplements a lot of dishes that come with meat. So a lot of ragu, which is you know, the tomato sauce with the meat and like the spices. That's kind of like the one up in the north, that little area, Bergamo. Then I went to the south. I went to Ancona, and there's a lot of fish there. Especially if you get close to the coast, and if you serve in some of the more southern cities, you get a lot of fish. There, I had some stuff that it was a little harder for me to eat. There was a lot of octopus and squid, and that was different. I won't go into detail how that felt, but there's a lot of that fish sort of meal, a lot of shrimp, a lot of clams and stuff like that. All of this mixing in with usually the basic foods of Italy, which is pasta, pizza, or you kind of get like sauces, breads, a lot of that stuff. Next, I went over to another coastal city over by Genova, which is pretty much the same. And then I went up to Milan. Milan is an industry, it's like it's an industrial city. There, you kind of get more of like traditional, what you think Italian food is. Some of the best things that I ate from Italy was just some of the best pizza, because a lot of the fancier, more rich people go to the city, so you can find some really good pizza, really good pasta. The cool thing about Italy, though, is that their pizzas are not like Italian pizzas, and there's a couple places here where you can kind of get it, but your portion of pizza is a whole pizza. So that's what you get when you order a pizza. And it costs nothing. I think it's like $3 for a whole pizza, or maybe a little bit more than that, actually. They're not thick like the American pizzas, but they're just more of a thinner crust. And the sauces and everything are kind of what make it. But it's totally edible. The thing is, like, you'll be so surprised how easy it is to eat a whole pizza in Italy than it is to eat here in America, which is really interesting. And then so Milan, and then after Milan, I went to Torino, which is just right under south, which is another industrial city. There's a couple good things. Desserts start pulling in right there. One dessert that you'll have to actually be careful with, especially if you're eating it in Italy. I guess there's two things you have to be careful with. And there's a really famous dessert called tiramisu. And tiramisu is delicious. It's so good. But you have to be careful because it's made with coffee most of the time. And you also have to be careful with candy, because a lot of the candy is made with alcohol. So you have to make sure you read the wrapper, or just wait until your throat starts stinging. One of those two that you've been taking a little bit of alcohol in you. Everyone ends up finding out some way or another. So there's that. From there, I went over to Venice. I think since it's just kind of like an artsy place, they have a little bit of everything. Also close to Austria, so they have more Germanics, or like more meats and like more heavier dishes. But you kind of get the artistic, like really delicate side of food, and I feel in the Venetian area. You get the really fine, fancy pastas, and you get the really elegantly made pizzas, and just like the smells and the sounds of Italy you will find there. Finding the food in Italy is incredible, because it's all outside. And you cannot expect to get something to eat from a store after like 7 or 8 in the evening. Actually 6 or 7. Everything starts closing down, except for late night pizzerias, or where people are getting drunk and stuff like that. Grocery stores do not stay open 24/7. If you need to get something, make sure you get it before you go back into your apartment, because then it's closed. They don't open till the next morning. They don't like working overnight. Actually, I don't think I ever saw something that's open 24/7, like Walmart or anything like that. It doesn't exist in Italy. So you have to make sure you get your supply before you come in that evening, or if you don't have any food, then you can't eat till the next morning. The fun thing is that at night, a lot of the culture starts coming out. So you have like the people, everyone takes out their tables outside. And at these tables, and they start bringing out the pizzas and the pie. You start smelling it in the streets a lot of the times. And you also start hearing the traditional Italian music. In a lot of places, you start hearing the accordions, or you start hearing those, like, just the typical what you would hear in Italy sort of thing. But then other than that as well, it's getting a lot more modern. So there's a lot of like, more of like poppy music and stuff. But either way, like it comes alive at night as far as it knows. But your taste palate's gonna go everywhere. But I'm pretty sure most of it's going to be, 80% of it's going to be delicious, because it's just, they really care about it. And you'll see it in the morning when you walk out. Every woman, or all the women, the wives, are out buying fresh bread, Three things: fresh bread, fresh cheese, and fresh meat. Every morning you'll see either the old ladies go out, which you'll be surprised because most of the old ladies ride bicycles. So you see like this 90-year-old lady riding a bicycle and you're like, wow, because every city is walkable. It's not made for cars. So you walk everywhere, and it's amazing to know that you can walk to the grocery store, to the clothing store, to the electronics store, to the every store. You just walkability. But those three things they go out and buy every morning: fresh bread, fresh cheese, and fresh meat. And any house that you'll go eat, you'll have all those three freshly bought that morning, because they don't believe in like really refreezing all that kind of stuff. Like they eat their meal that they bought that day, and they eat the next meal. Like it's just day by day they eat their stuff. Of course, I mean it is modern. There's refrigerators, there's food that you keep, but a lot of the time it's just that fresh food, which just makes it iconic. You will find in Italy that there is a huge, vast amount of older people than there is youth and young families. Italy does have a tradition of big families. I mean, you think of, I guess, some funny examples like the mafia. The mafia is all family, or big groups like that. But it's all based around family, knowing families. Businesses in Italy are based and built around the son taking over the father of the business and stuff like that. And it's there. It used to be there, but because of modernization on a couple of things, and because of unfortunate decisions on some of the political leaders, it's been difficult for them to really stabilize themselves as what they should be. Instead of they're trying to just kind of fit in somewhere because they've had some troubles and some bad decisions and stuff like that. They drink a lot of Coca-Cola there. It's like one of the huge drinks. And in Milan, you say Coca-Cola. But in Florence, the C's are pronounced as H's. So you would say Coca-Cola. And so like you start hearing these different things. But the only hard thing is that words start sounding first strange, and then second, they can use the same word for completely different things just by crossing like just a couple kilometers. You're just in a whole different. And the thing is, like, the city can be inhabited by like 20 people or by 1 million people. They could have a different dialect. They care that much about their little city, about themselves, about, just being so strong about it, that most of the cities have developed their own dialect. And so everywhere you go, you can easily pick up several sets of like phrases, sentences, words that'll just complement to the area that you were in. And also, if you dedicated in learning those, if you're dedicated in learning the dialect of your area, you'll go so much further with improving your conversation with the Italians there, because they'll respect you. Be like, wow, I didn't know you knew our dialect, sort of thing. They won't think that it's disrespectful, like that an outsider is trying to learn their stuff, but like in fact it'll be the opposite effect. They'll encourage you to learn it. They'll encourage you to. They'll speak to you in dialect. And if you were able to pick it up and learn it, it'll just be such a great thing for them. They'll definitely be impressed. It's definitely a conversation starter, and on a really positive note as well. Io penso che adesso ci sono tantissime cose che potrei dire o vorrei dire, però la cosa più importante sarebbe che io sono molto contento per tutte le cose che ho imparato nel tempo che ho servito come missionario in quel bel paese d'Italia. Non posso esprimere i sentimenti che ho ricevuto grazie alle cose che hanno successo durante quei due anni. Io so che io ancora sto provando il mio meglio di vivere come io ho vissuto a quel tempo, e che adesso io anche capisco di più quello che tante delle persone che ho insegnato avevano, e forse a quel momento non sapevo. Grazie allo Spirito mi ha aiutato a comprendere un pochino come io potrei aiutare, però adesso io penso che adesso sto capendo di più. La missione è sempre stata la missione era un passo, il primo passo della mia vita. Non è tutto, è solo un tempo, però che è un tempo ispirato dal Signore, e che piano pianino ho ricevuto più conoscenza per sapere che io posso continuare con la mia vita sapendo che io sicuramente posso credere in Dio. Io posso credere in Gesù Cristo. E io posso credere nelle cose che io non vedo con i miei occhi, ma che io sento con il mio cuore, sapendo che le azioni che io faccio sono fatte per una ragione giusta. Questo lo credo, lo crederò per sempre, perché è stato così forte nel mio cuore che non ci può essere nessun'altra cosa che mi può fare cambiare la mente, perché so che è vero. E quello lo lascio sinceramente con tutto il mio cuore perché so che è vero.